your powerful protection to lead our island with honesty and integrity. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Representative McDonald. Representative Barlangbayan.
Vanogitamoru Puritanota Kantai Matunanya Itoru Iluga Ayona Para Gloria Viva Isla Senta
Representative Rosario.
Inifrasi, gininimastaculum gihina soku, imastaculum gi corazonhu, zanimas figu nanina senyahu, hua fresemai sazu, padabahu putehi, zanu defendi, ihinengi, ikotura, ilinguahi, airi, honum zanitano chamoru. Guretsu ginanzo estata, esti hua fitma gihilui biblia, Zani bandadahu ibandadan guahan.
Everyone please be seated. Can I please get the roll call?
Representative Attaway. Representative Attaway present. Representative Al-Cairo. Representative Al-Cairo present. Representative Arcala. Representative Arce. Representative Arce present. Representative Casilla. Representative Casilla present. Representative Conception. Representative David. Representative Delory. Representative Beharin. Here. Representative Beharin present. Representative Garcia. Representative Grant. Representative Lynn. Representative Lorenzo. Representative Lorenzo present. Representative Lujan. Representative Medling Bayan. Representative Medling Bayan present. Representative Makepeace. Present. Representative Makepeace present. Representative McDonald. Representative McDonald present. Representative Orsini. Representative Pangilinan. Representative Perez. Representative Kineni. Representative Kineni present. Representative Quintanilla. Representative Quintanilla present. Representative Roberto. Representative Rosario. Representative Rosario present. Representative Samelo. Representative Anthony Santos. Representative Javen Santos. Representative Javen Santos present. Representative Spindell. Representative Spindell present. Representative Zhang. Mr. Speaker, you have quorum.
Thank you. So we're going on to item G, communications and petitions for the Guam Youth Congress. There are none. Item H, messages from Imagalakan Guahan. There are none. Item I, reports of standing committee. There are none. Introduction of and first reading of bills and resolutions. Can I please get the first reading?
Bill number 30-30, introduced by Representative Alcairo, an act to amend Section 3226 of Article 2, Division 1, Chapter 3 of Title 9, Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations relative to clarifying that concrete and solid metal walls are acceptable as perimeter fencing for a commercial quarantine facility. Bill number 31-30, introduced by Representative Kineni, relative to changing the term of office for senators of the Guam legislature. Bill number 32-30, introduced by Committee on Public Safety and Judiciary, relative to be known as the Superior Court Act of 2016, relative to the composition of Superior Court judges. Resolution number 21-30, introduced by Representative Kineni, relative to adding a Section 27.05 to the Guam Youth Congress Standing Rules to add removal of members due to attendance. Resolution number 22-30, introduced by Representatives Rosario and Kineni, relative to the removal of inactive members of the Guam Youth Congress. Resolution number 22-30, introduced by Representative Alcairo, relative to amending Imina 30 na Congresion Manhoban Guahan Standing Rules to allow for electronic voting for non-substantive resolutions. Resolution number 24-30, introduced by Representative Javen Santos, relative to supporting Bill 276-33, as well as any other bill that supports the security of the Guam Zoological, Botanical, and Marine Garden. Resolution number 25-30, introduced by Representative Kineni, relative to amending sections 839 and 8391 of the Standing Rules of the 30th Guam Youth Congress, extending motions notwithstanding House rules privileges to standing committee chairpersons. Resolution number 26-30, introduced by Representative Javen Santos, relative to announcing the Guam Youth Congress' support of presidential candidate Bernie Sanders.
Thank you. At this time, we will be moving on to motions. Representative Rosario.
Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding House rules, I would like to dissolve the Committee on Administration. Oh, I'm sorry, the Committee on Municipal Affairs and Parks and Recreations into the Committee on Environment, Natural Resources, and Public Utilities. Oh, sorry, to the Committee on Environment. Into the Committee on Economic Development, Labor, and Tourism.
There's been a motion notwithstanding House rules to dissolve the Committee on Municipal Affairs and Parks and Recreation into the Committee on Economic Development, Labor, and Tourism. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. Are there any other motions? Representative RC.
Mr. Speaker, I make a motion notwithstanding House rules to dissolve Veterans Affairs, Military Buildup, and Homeland Security into Public Safety and Judiciary.
There's been a motion to dissolve the Committee on Veterans Affairs, Military Buildup, and Homeland Security into the Committee on Public Safety and Judiciary. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. Are there any other motions members wish to make? Seeing as there are none, we're going to go ahead and move down to second reading file. At this time, we will be entertaining resolution number 21-30. Representative Kennedy.
Mr. Speaker, I motion that resolution 21-30 be moved into second reading file.
Just so everyone's clear, it's I move or I make a motion. Not I motion. Okay. There's been a motion to place 21-30 into resolution 21-30 into second reading file. Any objections? There are none. Motion carries. On that motion, Representative Kineni, go ahead.
Okay. So this resolution has been a long time coming. We haven't been able to remove members because we haven't had a policy or a standing rules for it. So with this resolution, I'm adding the extra rule to the standing rules so that it allows us to remove members so we can achieve quorum much more easier than we have been in the last couple of sessions. It's relatively straightforward. It's just 3 consecutive unexcused absences, and we can remove you by resolution. So it enhances our ability as a body to make decisions that are for a majority of us without worrying about reaching quorum. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Kennedy. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak for or against the measure? Seeing as there are none, I'm going to invite Representative Kennedy to close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward resolution. It's just so it helps us. Mr. Speaker, I move that resolution 21-30 be moved into third reading file.
There's been a motion to place resolution number 21-30 into the third reading file. Are there any objections? Seeing as there are none, motion carries. Next, resolution number 22-30. Representative Rosario.
Mr. Speaker, I make a motion to move resolution number 22-30 to the second reading file.
There's been a motion to place resolution number 22-30 into the second reading file. Are there any objections? Seeing as there are none, motion carries. Representative Rosario, on that motion, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so just to follow up with resolution number 21-30, there are a few inactive members, and those certain individuals would keep us from moving forward with quorum or even voting. So this is a resolution to help us move forward and help make the process much easier.
Thank you, Representative Rosario. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak for or against this measure? Representative Santos.
I would just like to add that being in the Guam Youth Congress is something that should not be taken lightly. And I know a lot of the members, us being youth, have other priorities, but I feel as though many of the members don't see Youth Congress as one of those priorities, and I would really like that opinion to change. Because the more people who take Youth Congress seriously, the more serious, I feel as though the more seriously Youth Congress can be taken. So with these members being removed, a lot of things can be pushed forward more easily. And that is why I support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Santos. Does anyone else wish to speak for or against this measure? If not, can I ask Representative Rosario to take the chair?
Is there anyone that would like to speak on this resolution? Representative Alcairo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to say that that I am in support of this resolution. As previous members have stated, it's kind of been foreseeable at this point. As the only returning member from the 29th Guam Youth Congress, membership and active membership was a big deterrent in terms of being able to reach quorum and to make any substantive changes within the body and just with the island population in general. It seems harsh, but Youth Congress is not something to be taken lightly. And in the past Youth Congresses, how many years ago, they're really the movers and shakers, and now they are serving in high government and business capacities for our island. And I want to be able to continue that tradition. The commitment of sessions every once a month or so isn't something that should be difficult. And I just want to go on record as saying that when you make a priority to show up somewhere once a month, you should probably stick with it. A lot of us are in school, they have jobs. 5 out of 7 days a week, that's a big commitment, but we still stick with it. The Youth Congress is a once a month commitment. It's 3% of your days and even less percent of your entire year in life. So, make the most of it while you can. To the members that are here present, I hope that this resolution doesn't discourage you from continuing in the next youth congresses. I hope that if anything, it encourages you to get more involved, to stay in it, and to realize that although there may be bumps along the way, we can still get somewhere. And your leadership is definitely looking at trying to make that difference as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the resolution? Seeing there are none, Representative Kennedy, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just like all the resolutions today, most of them are pretty straightforward, so I would just like to ask for everyone's support so we can continue moving forward. Thank you. With that, I make a motion to move Resolution 22-30 into the third reading file.
There's been a motion to move Resolution 22-30 to the third reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. So we're going to move on to Resolution number 23-30. Representative Alcairo.
Madam Speaker, I move to place resolution number 23-30 into the second reading file.
There's been a motion to move Resolution number 23-30 to the second reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. Representative Alcairo, you can open.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For those new members and older members, this resolution is just to amend the standing rules to allow for electronic voting for non-substantive resolutions. A lot of people are wondering what exactly that means, both older members and new members. It basically means that there are certain resolutions that are passed by the Youth Congress that either have a significant impact or substance, and those resolutions that are simply a means to express gratitude from the body, a means to express condolence, a means to express congratulations. And seeing as the Guam Youth Congress only meets every month or so, there are a number of events that do occur within those time periods that we as a body aren't able to meet up for in order to create a resolution and present it. Another thing is, presenting resolutions is something that the body, I'm sure, would like to learn more about, and this is just one of those mechanisms that we use to make sure that that happens. Electronic voting does happen in the actual Guam legislature in order to pass non-substantive resolutions. So as you can see, this will allow us as a body, by empowering the Committee on Rules to establish that procedure of how we're going to do electronic voting, whether it's just email, whether it's text, whether it's email and text, whether it's everybody or just the Committee on Rules or what have you. So by having this resolution, this is a substantive resolution, by the way, something that either expresses deep support or opposition, or something that changes the rules. And so with this substantive resolution, it would still have to be heard. But for those that say, the Guam Youth Council would like to congratulate this high school for winning this competition, that would be non-substantive. So I'm thankful for everyone's support, hopefully. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Alcairo. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the resolution? Representative Casilla?
Question for Representative Alcairo.
Representative Alcairo, will you yield to questions?
Yeah. Page 2, line 3. It says decided by the chairperson of the Committee on Rules. I was just wondering if my position on that is that I'd rather have it be decided by the Committee on Rules, not just by the chairperson. So why have you decided to just give the delegate with this resolution just the chairperson?
Thank you, Representative Casilla. Let me go ahead and find page 2 because I don't have that right now. Oh, thank you. Mine's only one-sided. Oh, it's on 30-2. Oh, that's right. Okay.
It's at the
There
back
you go.
of
I think I found it.
30.
Okay, I found it. Sorry. I was the one that even pointed that out earlier. So the reason being, actually, is that in the actual legislature, the Committee on Rules chairperson is empowered by the body to refer bills and resolutions based on their substance. In terms of this particular resolution, if we were to allow the entire Committee on Rules to decide whether or not the subject matter was substantive or non-substantive, then we'd have to have another vote, so to say. That would mean like, okay, we have this resolution that was submitted by Representative Alcairo to the Committee on Rules. I'm going to go ahead and put it to an electronic vote. Rather than that, then we'd have to say, okay, we have this resolution. Now we got to figure out how to amend the rules again so that we can put it to a vote to the Committee on Rules, whether or not it can be put to a vote on the Committee on Rules. I mean, we could do that, but then it gets really complicated because there's already not a catch-all, but there's already a backup mechanism in the sense that While the chairperson of the Committee on Rules does decide whether the subject matter or the subject matter is substantive or non-substantive, the members of the body can still not vote on the resolution because they don't agree with the subject matter. Not in the sense that it's substantive or non-substantive. So that's kind of, it's not explicitly stated, but that's kind of where that goes in terms of whether or not we'll be able to entertain a resolution, because maybe some members think it's substantive and shouldn't be voted on electronically. So instead they could just, not vote, which would then require that the bill or the resolution would be entertained on the floor rather than electronically. So I hope that kind of clarifies that backup mechanism, and if you have any other questions.
Did I hear that correctly? The members are allowed to vote on the through electronic vote?
Yeah, that's what this resolution is may adopt a non-substantive resolution through electronic voting.
All right. Thank you.
Does that clarify things? I just want to make sure that everyone's clear on the matter in terms of electronic voting only for non-substantive resolutions, not for bills or substantive resolutions.
All right.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the resolution? Seeing that there are none, Representative Cairo, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Again, it's a simple resolution meant to amend the standing rules in such a way that will allow for members to kind of expedite their resolutions. So the last whereas clause is the will of the Guam Youth Congress that such a procedure is put into place to allow for expeditious adoption of certain non-substantive resolutions. So hopefully this will help us fast track getting those resolutions passed and presented. I know that a number of individuals have inquired about presenting their resolutions, and typically that's, again, a function of each individual member because it's their resolution and how they want to proceed with it. But there is a process to physically present it, just like in the legislature, and if anyone is interested in doing that, then this will help us move things faster. Thank you. With that, I make a motion to place resolution number 23-30 into third reading file.
There's been a motion to move resolution number 23-30 to third reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. We're going to move on to resolution number 24-30. Representative Santos.
I make a motion to move resolution number 24-30 into the second reading file.
There's been a motion to move resolution number 24-30 to the second reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries.
Okay, this resolution is expressing support for Bill 276-33, which was sponsored by Senator Judy Wampat and Senator Tina Munoz Barnes. What it basically does for the zoo is it creates a special circumstance for the zoo itself, being Guam's only zoo, called Biodiversity Conservation Easement, and that basically guarantees that no matter what, at the very least, the land that the Cushing Zoo or the Guam Zoological, Botanical, and Marine Garden is on will always be for biodiversity conservation. When I had brought this up to the Youth Congress at first, I know there was criticisms on the bill not going as far enough to help preserve the zoo, but I support this bill, and as the resolution says, any other bill that supports the security of the zoo, because at the very least this bill has got the conversation going. It's a step towards improving the security of the Guam Zoological, Botanical, and Marine Garden, and I would rather have this pass and the conversation continue than this stopping and the circumstances being unclear as to where the Cushing Zoo would stand. So I wrote this resolution in order to support not only this bill, but to attempt to further the conversation on preserving Guam's only zoo, because it is a unique educational opportunity for the students of Guam, for anyone young and old, really. And if the Cushing Zoo is at danger, at any kind of threat in terms of their leasing of the land that they're on, then I feel that it's our responsibility to support not only this bill, but any bill that will help save the Cushing Zoo. And that is all.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the resolution? Representative Alcairo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would just like to express my support for the resolution. I understand that a public hearing was conducted by the Guam Legislature's Committee on Land last week, or this past Thursday. Unfortunately, a lot of us were in school or had other obligations and we couldn't make it. That's something I hope that the legislature will soon change and consider timing of public hearings to accommodate those that are most affected, such as students and younger individuals that kind of find the zoo as a source of inspiration. And then I want to continue off of that by saying that I've found the zoo as a source of inspiration growing up. For the longest time, for those of you that don't know me that well, I'm actually a biology major at the University of Guam, and a big spark in that interest of biology was at the Cushing Zoo. Seeing those animals and later learning through my higher educational studies that the zoo does play an important role in preserving native and endemic species from the island of Guam. And not only that, but serving as an educational tool for the youth of Guam and for our visitors and for anyone that really wants to learn about basic animals, animal biology and such. While there are some criticisms that I have openly expressed as well for the specific bill, such as the fact that the bill was introduced because they couldn't keep up with rent and then it would still charge them with rent. I think that just is something that needs to be ironed out and worked out with the Committee on Land. Hopefully they see that the Guam Youth Congress does support creating this kind of land designation so that we can preserve not just the endemic species of the island, but interest in the endemic species of the island. By allowing the land to be rezoned as such or designated for such purpose, we're going to ensure that future generations will continue to be interested in endemic culture, science, biology, and hopefully that'll propel us further into the STEM field, which is something that the rest of the world has really kind of pushed for. It's a little disheartening to find out, that such a treasured entity is in danger of closing, and I think that we should find more creative solutions. While the bill does, lay out some solution in that designation, I mean, we could find more, like not charging them rent at all as long as they maintain the zoo and provide free educational courses for students or trips for students, stuff like that. So I do support the resolution with some reservations, but overall the intent of the bill is clear and should be carried out. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the resolution? Seeing there are none, Representative Santos, would you like to close?
I'd just like to thank all of you guys for hearing out this concern about the Cushing Zoo, because I really feel if the Cushing Zoo really weren't able to pay their lease for their rent on the land and something were to happen either legally or financially that would cause the zoo to close, then that would be a huge loss for our island, because being Guam's only zoo, that's quite a task that they have taken upon themselves. But they have been doing great things, like trying to rehabilitate the fruit bat population and conserving a bunch of other flora and fauna that are endemic to our island. And the term biodiversity conservation really does justice to the kind of things that the Cushing Zoo does. And I hope that you guys support this resolution. And with that, I move the resolution number 24-30 to the third reading file.
There's been a motion to move resolution number 24-30 to the third reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. We're going to move on to bill number 30-30. Representative Alcairo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to make a motion to place Bill number 30-30 into the second reading file.
There's been a motion to move bill number 30-30 to the second reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. You may open.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to say that this bill that I introduced is pretty much a carbon copy of that which was passed by the 32nd Guam legislature back in December of 2014, before they recessed and dissolved into the 33rd Guam legislature. The 32nd Guam legislature passed this bill, I believe, unanimously, and it was vetoed by the governor, but it was not entertained for an override because the legislature had already recessed into the next legislature. This resolution seeks to clarify the language in the Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations in regards to quarantine facilities. There are some concerns within the community about how a quarantine facility should be constructed, how it should be maintained and such, and I feel that given that public outcry, if you will, it's important that we as youth make sure that we represent the interests of those that we represent. The quarantine facility helps to ensure that we maintain certain status for the island, such as maintaining our rabies-free status, ensuring that we don't track invasive species that might be coming in through other animals. As you know, the Festival of the Pacific Arts is coming up in a few months, and there's been some concerns about invasive species. And though this quarantine facility isn't directly related to FestPac, there is a chance that another type of invasive species incident could happen in the future after FestPac. This bill was introduced by Senator Rory Spicio, passed by the 32nd Guam legislature, and was not entertained for an override. And I hope that by introducing this bill here and passing it here, we'll be able to bring it back to the floor of the 33rd Guam legislature before they recess into the next legislature, and maintain their judgment in the 32nd legislature in passing this legislation. With that, I just want to ask for your support, and I thank everybody.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the bill? Seeing that there are none, Representative Alcairo, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Again, I just want to clarify that this is something that's been passed before, hasn't been overridden or attempted to be overridden. I hope that the 33rd Guam legislature does take this piece of legislation into consideration again and make sure that whatever was given in the veto notice by the governor of this bill, they can work on it. Unfortunately, the Guam Congress doesn't have the necessary resources to do this kind of research, or the knowledge and expertise. But with the support of the 33rd Guam legislature, we hope to resolve whatever issues were existing with the initial bill in the 32nd legislature. And with that, I'd like to place bill number 30-30 into the third reading file.
There's been a motion to place bill number 30-30 into the third reading file. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. I call a recess. Test. I call the 30th Guam Youth Congress back into session. Can we move on to second roll call? I call the 30th Guam Youth Congress into recess. I call the 30th Guam Youth Congress back into session. Representative Santos.
I make a motion to move Resolution 26-30 into the second reading file.
There's been a motion to move resolution number 26-30 into the second reading file. Are there any objections? Seeing that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So all those in favor of moving resolution number 26-30 into the second reading file, can I get a show of hands? All those in favor of moving resolution number 26-30 into the second reading file, raise your hand. There are only 2. So sorry, your motion fails. Can I get it? Okay, Representative Casilla.
Can I move to discuss the objection?
A recess. Can I get a motion to have second roll call reflect first roll call? Representative Alcairo.
Madam Speaker, I move that second roll call reflect first roll call.
There's been a motion to have second roll call reflect first roll call. Are there any objections? There are none. Motion carries. Can we move into third reading file? Representative Alcairo, can you assume the chair?
I'm going to call a quick recess. Youth Congress is hereby called back into session. We are on third reading file, bill number 30-30.
Bill number 30-30, introduced by Representative Alcairo, relative to clarifying that concrete and solid metal walls are acceptable as perimeter fencing for a commercial quarantine facility. Representative Attawag? Passed. Representative Attawag? Passed. Representative Al-Cairo? Representative Al-Cairo? Aye. Representative Arce? Representative Arce? Aye. Representative Casilla? Representative Casilla? Aye. Representative Faharin? Representative Faharin? Passed. Representative Lorenzo? Representative Lorenzo? Passed. Representative Lujan? Representative Lujan? Aye. Representative Medlang Bayan? Representative Medlang Bayan? Aye. Representative Makepeace? Representative Makepeace? Aye. Representative McDonald? Representative McDonald? Aye. Representative Kineni? Representative Kineni? Passed. Representative Quintanilla? Representative Quintanilla? Aye. Representative Rosario? Representative Rosario? Aye. Representative Javen Santos? Representative Javen Santos? Aye. Representative Spindell? Representative Spindell? Aye. Representative Attawag? Representative Attawag? Aye. Representative Faharin? Representative Faharin? Aye. Representative Lorenzo? Representative Lorenzo? Aye. Representative Kineni? Representative Kineni? Aye.
By a vote of 15 to 0, Bill number 30-30 is unanimously passed by 30th Guam Congress. Resolution number 21-30.
Resolution number 21-30, introduced by Representative Kineni, relative to add removal of members due to attendance to the Guam Youth Congress standing rules. Representative Attawag? Representative Attawag? Aye. Representative Al-Cairo? Representative Al-Cairo? Aye. Representative Arce? Representative Arce? Aye. Representative Casilla? Representative Casilla? Passed. Representative Faharin? Representative Faharin? Aye. Representative Lorenzo? Representative Lorenzo? Aye. Representative Lujan? Representative Lujan? Aye. Representative Medlang Bayan? Representative Medlang Bayan? Aye. Representative Makepeace? Representative Makepeace? Aye. Representative McDonald? Representative McDonald? Aye. Representative Representative Kineni? Representative Kineni? Aye. Representative Quintanilla? Representative Quintanilla? Aye. Representative Rosario? Representative Rosario? Aye. Representative Santos? Representative Javen Santos? Aye. Representative Spindell? Representative Spindell? Aye. Representative Casilla? Representative Casilla? Aye.
By a vote of 15 ayes to 0 nays, resolution number 21-30 is unanimously passed by 30th Guam Congress. Resolution number 22-30.
Resolution number 22-30, introduced by Representatives Rosario and Representative Kineni relative to the removal of inactive members of the Guam Youth Congress. Representative Adawag. Representative Adawag, aye. Representative Al-Cairo. Representative Al-Cairo, aye. Representative Arce. Representative Arce, aye. Representative Casilla. Representative Casilla, aye. Representative Faharin. Representative Faharin, aye. Representative Lorenzo. Representative Lorenzo, aye. Representative Lujan. Representative Lujan, aye. Representative Madlangbayan. Representative Madlangbayan, aye. Representative Makepeace. Representative Makepeace, aye. Representative McDonald. Representative McDonald, aye. Representative Kineni. Representative Kineni, aye. Representative Quintanilla. Representative Quintanilla, aye. Representative Rosario. Representative Rosario, aye. Representative Javen Santos. Representative Javen Santos, aye. Representative Spindell. Representative Spindell, aye.
By a vote of 15 ayes and 0 nays, resolution number 22-30 is hereby unanimously passed by the 30th Guam Youth Congress. Can I get a motion notwithstanding House rules with the passage of resolution number 22-30 to have the roster reflect resolution number 22-30? A motion to have the roster reflect Representative Arce. Why is your name tag facing you?
Mr. Speaker, I make a motion for a roll call to reflect from 21-30 to reflect Resolution 22-30.
A motion notwithstanding House rules to have
Notwithstanding
the
House
roster
rules.
of the 30th Guam Youth Congress reflect the
20 resolution.
adoption of Resolution 22-30.
Are you telling me to?
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I make a motion notwithstanding House rules for the roster of Resolution 21-30.
The resolution of the 30th Guam Youth Congress
The resolution of the 30th Guam Youth Congress
to reflect the adoption of Resolution 22-30.
reflect the adoption of Resolution 22-30.
There's been a motion notwithstanding House rules to have the roster of the Guam Youth Congress reflect the adoption of Resolution number 22-30. Are there any objections? There are none. Resolution number 23-30.
Resolution number 23-30, introduced by Representative Al-Cairo, relative to amending Iminay-30 na Kongresyon Manhoben Guahan standing rules to allow for electronic voting for non-substantive resolutions. Representative Adawag. Representative Adawag, pass. Representative Al-Cairo. Representative Al-Cairo, aye. Representative Arce. Representative Arce, aye. Representative Casilla. Representative Casilla, aye. Representative Faharin. Representative Faharin, aye. Representative Lorenzo. Representative Lorenzo, aye. Representative Lujan. Representative Lujan, aye. Representative Madlangbayan. Representative Madlangbayan, aye. Representative Makepeace. Representative Makepeace, aye. Representative McDonald. Representative McDonald, aye. Representative Kineni. Representative Kineni, pass. Representative Quintanilla. Representative Quintanilla, aye. Representative Rosario. Representative Rosario, aye. Representative Javen Santos. Representative Javen Santos, aye. Representative Spindell. Representative Spindell, aye. Representative Attawag. Representative Attawag, aye. Representative Kineni. I'm sorry, come again? Representative Kineni, aye.
By a vote of 15 ayes and 0 nays, resolution number 23-30 is hereby unanimously passed by the 30th Guam Youth Congress. Resolution number 24-30.
Resolution number 24-30, introduced by Representative Javen Santos, relative to supporting Bill 276-33, as well as any other bill that supports the security of the Guam Zoological, Botanical, and Marine Garden. Representative Attawag. Representative Attawag, aye. Representative Al-Cairo. Representative Al-Cairo, aye. Representative Arce. Representative Arce, aye. Representative Casilla. Representative Casilla, aye. Representative Beharin. Aye. Representative Beharin, aye. Representative Lorenzo. Representative Lorenzo, aye. Representative Lujan. Representative Lujan, aye. Representative Madlangbayan. Representative Madlangbayan, aye. Representative Makepeace. Representative Makepeace, aye. Representative McDonald. Representative McDonald, aye. Representative Kineni. Representative Kineni, aye. Representative Quintanilla. Representative Quintanilla, aye. Representative Rosario. Representative Rosario, aye. Representative Javen Santos. Aye. Representative Javen Santos, aye. Representative Spindell. Representative Spindell, aye.
By a vote of 15 ayes and 0 nays, resolution number 24-30 is hereby unanimously passed by the 30th Guam Youth Congress. And that's all the voting. Moving on. Are there any announcements or a brief extension of remarks? Anything going on? No? Okay. So we're going to move on. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Representative Kineni. Motion to adjourn by Representative Kineni. Are there any objections? There are none. Session of the 30th Guam Congress is hereby adjourned.